As many of you will know, we have now done videos on what a Soviet Union national team might look like if the USSR was reformed, and a potential British Empire starting 11 made up of the best players from the countries which made up the world's largest empire at its zenith. I'm keen to do more fancy 11s if that's something people want to see, and I've got plans to do Catalonia, Yorkshire, Roman Empire, and Ottoman Empire teams so far if this series proves to be a success. Today, I'm taking on an idea suggested in the comments section of the Soviet Union video, and that is to imagine that all the nations which make up the Confederation of African Football united to form an all-star team made up of the continent's best players, and this is an idea we could replicate for all the other continents if it proves to be popular. As always, selections are based on current ability. Here is our combined African nations starting 11. Goalkeeper: Andre Onana. Andre. 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 Jesus, it's not that hard to remember. The weakest position, probably both in terms of the leading candidate and certainly in terms of depth in our All-Star African 11, is with the number 1 shirt. Having said that, we think Andre Onana is quite an obvious choice as the best of a not formidable bunch. Once a part of the Samuel Eto'o Foundation in Cameroon, Onana joined Barcelona's La Masia Academy at the age of 13, moving on to Ajax in 2015. Since then, he's made over 100 appearances for the Dutch Giants, establishing himself as the club's first choice in his teens. He's now 22 and comfortably the best goalkeeper at our disposal. Left back: Fawzi Ghoulam. It's another very easy decision at left back, since Algeria star Fawzi Ghoulam recently featured in our look at the 7 best left backs in world football right now. A brilliant fullback who has been plagued by injuries over the last 18 months, Ghoulam could fairly be described as world class at his best. He's quick, hard-working, and capable of delivering a really sweet left-footed ball into the box. Born in France but capped 35 times by Algeria, Ghoulam was named as the African Footballer of the Year in 2017, and his inclusion here was never really in doubt. Centre back: Kalidou Koulibaly. If this were a FIFA Ultimate Team squad, we'd be building up some nice chemistry here, since Fawzi Ghoulam and Kalidou Koulibaly are teammates at Napoli. Barring forward players, Koulibaly is the outstanding player in our starting 11. One of the most formidable centre-backs in world football right now, the 27-year-old has gone from strength to strength over the last half-decade in Serie A. He is of course an absolute giant at the back, so strong and quick at top speed, but he's also excellent positionally. Koulibaly was also born in France, but he has won 31 caps for Senegal, twice being named as the Senegalese Footballer of the Year and twice making the Confederation of African Football Team of the Year. Centre-back: Mehdi Benatia. Whilst Koulibaly is an obvious starter, there could be a little bit of debate about his centre-back partner. Mehdi Benatia is our choice, despite the fact that the 31-year-old recently made a move to the Qatar Stars League. Having previously turned out for the likes of Roma, Bayern Munich and Juventus, Benatia is obviously a player of some pedigree, and he has made the Confederation of African Football Team of the Year 3 times. Benatia is also big, strong and defensively astute, and together with Koulibaly, this side should have a pretty solid foundation. Right back: Serge Aurier. Right back presented our first real head-scratcher, with 2 candidates with compelling arguments, both for and against. Serge Aurier was our first thought, the 2-time title winner with PSG, 3-time African Team of the Year inclusion, and now Tottenham rotation player, having won 48 caps for the Ivory Coast. Then we remembered Achraf Hakimi, who is still very young, but played 17 times for Real Madrid last season as they won the Champions League, and has already registered 20 appearances in a high-flying Borussia Dortmund side this season. Aurier gives you fantastic energy and real attacking intent, whilst Hakimi is good on the ball and fairly measured in his defending. In the end, we went for Aurier, who has a bit more experience and who we feel is the better player on his day. Holding midfield: Thomas Partey. There are a whole load of very good defensive and holding midfield players from the continent of Africa, as you will see in our bench and with our honourable mentions. The one who we felt simply had to start is Thomas Partey, who has established himself as an integral part of one of the best teams in Europe under Diego Simeone. At the age of 25, Partey has played 125 games for Atletico Madrid, along with having scored 7 goals from 17 caps for Ghana. Partey is strong, industrious, and equally capable of acting as a shield just in front of a back four, or operating as an all-action box-to-box midfield player. He's a safe bet to start for us. Holding midfield, Idrissa Gana Gueye. Just as we did in our British Empire 11, we're having to go with two defensive midfielders here, partly because we have a lot of strength and depth in that department, and partly because our forward line offers us very little in the way of defensive protection. Idrissa Gueye's inclusion in this 11 was by no means a surefire thing, with competition from the likes of Victor Wanyama and Geoffrey Kondogbia. It was a tight call in truth, but there's a reason why PSG are reportedly sniffing around Gueye, and that is because he is a very effective midfield destroyer. Often likened to N'Golo Kante, Gueye has a sensational work rate and he regularly ranks among the top tacklers in the Premier League. Alongside Partey, we think he's just about our best candidate. Left wing, Sadio Mane. We really are spoilt for choice when it comes to wide players from Africa, and out wide on the left, we've gone for Liverpool star Sadio Mane. Capable of playing on either the right or the left flank, Mane is quick, good on the ball, and a constant threat to the opposition goal. He scored 20 goals in all competitions last season and will still be keen to better that this term, currently on 30. A 3-time African Team of the Year inclusion, Mane was Liverpool's Player of the Year for the 2016-17 season, and although there's plenty of competition, we think he has to start. Attacking midfield, Mohamed Salah. The plethora of options that we have out wide has convinced me that Mohamed Salah should be played through the middle, either just off or just in behind our centre forward. Salah is obviously the star of African football right now and one of the most celebrated footballers in the world. Enjoying godlike status in Egypt, the 26-year-old has exceeded all possible expectations since signing for Liverpool. Following a record-breaking debut campaign, he's already hit 20 goals for this season as well, having been named as African Footballer of the Year in both 2017 and 2018. The Liverpool man came 6th in Ballon d'Or voting for 2018, and he'd be the star man in our side. Right wing, Riyad Mahrez. Just like he does at Man City, Riyad Mahrez has heaps of competition for his place in our starting 11 here. I actually think City look strongest, with Sane and Sterling as their two wide men, but Mahrez's numbers are still exceptional. He's bagged 10 goals and 10 assists in 35 appearances in all competitions since arriving at the Etihad, and I doubt many of those appearances were for the full 90 minutes. He was named as the African Footballer of the Year for 2016, following Leicester City's remarkable Premier League title success, and the Algerian joined the Foxes for just £400,000 when the club were in the Championship. He's obviously an exceptional talent, and we felt he had to start. Centre forward, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Following a few tricky decisions, it's a real no-brainer in terms of our lone striker. Gabon's only representation in our entire squad, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is among the finest forwards to have ever hailed from the continent of Africa. Marked as a very quick player during his early years in France, Aubameyang quickly made it clear there was a lot more to his game than just pace at St Etienne. He reached yet new heights after a couple of seasons at Borussia Dortmund, bagging 79 goals in his two most prolific campaigns. A transfer to Arsenal followed, and the electric frontman has since found the back of the net 28 times in 44 games, not a bad start to life in England. He has made the African Team of the Year 5 times, having been named as African Player of the Year in 2015. Substitutes. As always, we do have our substitutes to fall back on should anything happen to our star turns or a tactical alteration need to be made. In goal, where we're not blessed with exceptional strength in depth, we've looked a little left field and gone for Ugandan number 1 Dennis Onyango, who is among the best shot stoppers in South Africa's top flight right now. Victor Onyema and Carlos Kameni may be bigger names, but Kameni can't get a game at Fenerbahce and Onyema hasn't even had a club since 2018. As backup centre-back, it's a choice between Joel Matip and Eric Bailly, and Bailly is the stronger of the two for us. The Manchester United man has occasionally looked really impressive for the Red Devils, but injuries and the odd mistake have always prevented him from developing any kind of rhythm. He still makes our bench though. In the fullback position, having come so close to making our starting 11, Achraf Hakimi has to make our bench. The Borussia Dortmund loanee also brings the added bonus of being able to play in a couple of positions. As with the starting 11, the midfield area is where the real debates are to be had. We could have a bench of 15 and there'd still be some really handy central and defensive midfielders overlooked. In the end, we're going with Geoffrey Kondogbia as our backup holding player, Naby Keita as our backup central midfielder, and Hakim Ziyech as our more creative and attack-minded midfield substitute. Kondogbia is a very good player who is neck and neck with Idrissa Gueye for a starting berth, Naby Keita was excellent at RB Leipzig and primarily missed out due to our formation, and Ziyech is a player that we like a lot, and he'd be an excellent impact player to bring on if you were looking to change your game and unlock an opposition defence. Finally, our 7th and last substitute is Crystal Palace and Ivory Coast star Wilfried Zaha, who is not only a very good player, but he can also double up as either a winger or as a backup centre forward. That was really tricky, so we'll name some particularly honourable mentions who just missed out on both our starting 11 and on our bench. In no particular order, they include Victor Wanyama, Yassin Brahimi, Karim El Ahmadi, Solomon Kalou, Javinho, Kwadwo Asamoah, Yunus Belhanda, Victor Moses, Cedric Bakambu, Kevin Prince Boateng, Jean-Michael Seri, Joel Matip, Nabil Bentaleb, Alex Iwobi, Amin Harit, Andre Ayew, and Wilfred Ndidi. So that's it for our starting 11, our subs, and our honourable mentions. As always, let us know what you think in the comments, what changes would you make, is there anyone you think we missed out, and how do you think this side would get on at a World Cup? Also, let us know if you enjoyed this type of video, and whether you'd like to see us take a look at the other continents in the future. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you've subscribed and clicked the bell if you want to know when we've uploaded a video in the future.